welcome to Polish with Ray. I'm Rachel and today I'm going to be sharing with you a big comparison video. I'm sharing my favorite bright pink bases with a blue shimmer. Very specific, I know. So if you are anything like me, you love pink. Maybe some of you hate pink. If so, I bet you don't like my videos. But truly, I love pink. It was really the color that made me fall in love with nail polish and made me want to wear it. Was any bright pink. It could be a neon, but I mean, just anything bright. And I noticed over time I was rebuying the same polishes over and over again. Very often they were bright pinks and usually they had some kind of blue shimmer. So I've tried to stop buying those polishes because I have a lot of them. That's why we're doing this video. But I can't help it. Like, I always gravitate towards that color combination. It's just so summery and fun. I don't know what it is. So we'll be looking at a lot of those today. I did purchase some specifically for this video that I feel like I've heard talked a lot about but didn't have in my collection. So what's a few more bright pinks with blue shimmers? Am I right? So we're going to be checking them out today, comparing them. You'll have to tell me in the comments if you love any of these, if you have any of these and you don't love them, or if you have any other bright pinks with blue shimmers that I need to buy. All right, we have at least 10, maybe closer to 15 of these to look at today, so let's go ahead and check them out. We're first going to take a look at the pink bases that have more of a magenta or purple, deeper lean to them. This one comes from Monarch Lacquer and it is called Truth or Dare. It has a neon magenta base, black micro glitters, and some larger black square glitters, and a blue shimmer running throughout. This one was opaque in 2 to 3 coats. I think over time it definitely would be a solid 2-coater. The glitters spread out even and easily over the nail. And the blue shimmer for this one I found to be a little bit more on the subtle side, to my surprise. That's because it's more opaque though. And this one does glow under black light. Here I feel like this one was the hardest one in this video to get color accurate. It is a beautiful, beautiful neon magenta base, so vibrant, and there was nothing like it base-wise in this comparison video. By the way, at the end of the video, I will share some comparisons swatched as a Skittle and a big swatch wheel, including all of the polishes I shared with you today. Next up, we have Polished for Days Look Alive. This one has a deeper pinky purple magenta base. It has some holographic flakes and of course that vibrant blue shimmer. This one needed 3 coats to reach full opacity for me. I noticed the blue shimmer in this one was extremely vibrant compared to some of the others in this comparison, and the rainbow in the flakes was beautiful. It truly looked rainbowy. By the way, if you see me wearing a polish kind of like this throughout this video, it is this one. I wore it in July, and it's amazing. Absolutely love this one. Next up is kbshimmer's Aim to Breeze, which was released in their summer collection for 2024. This one also has a deeper, more magenta leaning jelly pink base with vibrant blue shimmer. I will say it looks very, very similar to Polished for Days Look Alive. They're not exactly the same. You'll see a little later. The Polished for Days has a little bit more purple, and then this kbshimmer is more pink leaning in the base, but they're quite close, minus the holographic flakes and the Polished for Days, of course. This one had a beautiful formula, very jelly leaning. It did need 3 coats to reach opacity. In fact, at my longer nail length, I did not reach full opacity for this one. I could pick out my nail line if I was looking for it. And next we have the deepest color in this comparison video. This is Cirque Colors Wild Berry West. This one is definitely a deep magenta base. It has a strong pinky purple lean to it, and it's got a blue shimmer, but because of the base, sometimes it kind of takes on a purple appearance, and it has those gorgeous micro holographic sparkles that I love from Cirque Colors that are very easy to remove. This one definitely had a jelly base. It was a little bit uneven on that first coat, but I did reach full opacity in 3 coats and it evened out beautifully on that 3rd coat. This one also had a little bit of a visible nail line. in 3 coats at this longer nail length. When I've worn this previously, when I've had shorter nails, I haven't noticed that. So longer nails, you may want to wear this with a blurring base coat if you're not okay with that visible nail line. The base was also a little bit more red leaning with this color than the others we've looked at. And the last, I guess, true magenta base comes from People of Color, and it is called Low and Slow. This one has a red lean to that magenta base, which we've not seen in any of the polishes we've looked at so far. And I would say the blue shimmer on this one was a little bit more on the subtle side. You really have to be in brighter lighting to take notice of it. In shade, it's not very apparent. However, the application of this was so easy. The formula is perfect, smooth, easy to work with, very even. It was a joy to apply, even with that not my favorite unpaddle brush. I built this up to 3 coats. I did still have a little bit of visible nail line, but honestly not super noticeable. This one I am kind of considering destashing because just after looking at all of these, I've realized I like that loud blue shimmer. Moving away from the magentas and into the more bright pinks, this one is from Emily DeMolly, and it is called Dear Diary. It has a neon purple leaning pink base and this blue shimmer that kind of gives like a glass flaky feel to it. It's definitely a larger particle than what we've seen so far. This one definitely had a creamy feel to it also, which was so different from the jellies we've seen. It was fully opaque for me in 2 coats. I did go in for 3, but I wish I would have stayed at 2. This one also had a shimmer that seemed to shift from blue to purple. It was kind of shifty, and it does glow in black light. I absolutely love this one. I love a cool toned pink, and I love how well this one built up. So I'll talk about standouts at the end, but spoiler, this is definitely one of them. Our next shade is an iconic one. It comes from Zoya, so it's a mainstream, and it is called Lola. I love that name. That's my dog's name. So this one has a neon warm pink base and a really stunning fine blue shimmer running throughout. This one also glows in black light, if that matters to you. So this one had a very jelly leaning formula. It was smooth, easy to work with. I did use Zoya's paddle brush, their Z-wide brush, because that is my preference. But with the Z-wide brush, it couldn't have been any easier to apply. It looked great in 2 coats, but in 3 coats, I got the best coverage, and I only had a slight amount of visible nail line. This one did have a more subtle shimmer compared to the indies we've looked at so far, but for a mainstream polish, I thought it was pretty impressive. Especially compared to the next one we're going to look at. This one is Morgan Taylor. She's a classic. This one has like your standard neon pink base with the most subtle blue shimmer of all time. You can kind of see it in the bottle there, and that's good because you sure can't see it on the nails. I felt like I needed to include it because it fits it fits the description. However, on the nails, there is no blue shimmer. It had a great formula though. It was pretty much fully opaque in 2, well, it was fully opaque in 2 coats. It was almost opaque in 1, and it was very easy to work with. It's coming off very cool toned here. It does not look like this. At the end of the video, when I show that swatch wheel of all the colors together in sunlight, you'll see this is just your standard neon pink cream. And now we're moving into some like more purpley orchidy pink bases. This one is from Cupcake Polish, and it's called Fuchsia Rays. This one I describe as being a kind of purpley pink jelly base, gorgeous blue shimmer, and some stunning silver holographic glitter. That one really sets this polish apart in my mind. Formula for this was smooth and very easy to work with. It was even and nice to apply. I did have a little bit of visible nail line in 3 coats, but I really didn't notice it unless I was looking for it because that glitter is beautiful and so super distracting. I like put in my notes, loved this one. I just feel like that glitter just does it for me. It makes this like extra perfect for summertime because it's so sparkly. Next up, we have Cirque Colors Jet Setter, which has a special place in my heart. It was one of my first pink blue shimmer polishes. And this one has a purpley pink base. I wonder if mine's faded a little bit. I feel like it has. But anyway, a super fine, really beautiful blue shimmer. And again, that iconic Cirque Colors micro holographic particle that I just love so much. This one had a smooth and, again, kind of creamy feel. It reminded me with the Emily DeMolly in that way. And on application, because the shimmer is so fine, it had kind of like a pearly feel to it. I know. Don't worry, it disappears on dry down. It's very smooth, very creamy, and just beautiful. I reached full opacity with this one in 2 coats. I think when I first got it, I did need 3 to reach that, but now I've had it for a while, so 2 coats was perfect. Look how beautiful. Oh, I love this one. This to me is like the perfect springy pink with a blue shimmer. Very soft and just ethereal. One I had to purchase specifically for this video, I had to see how it measured up, was Mooncat's Mer Kitten. This one has kind of a similar-ish base to the Cirque Colors, but it's just a little bit brighter, and it leans a little bit less purple and more pink. It's got really beautiful small particle shimmer and has a very jelly feel, as you'll see. So this one had a great application. I will admit, I was a little concerned on that first coat. I was like, oh, this is going to be sheer. But look how it applies on that second coat. It really builds up well. Very buildable. This one does have that purple lean to it, but like I said, I really feel like this one is truly a beautiful pink base. And the shimmer, I feel like, shifts just a little bit to blue. I also reached full opacity in 3 coats with this shade. Another one I purchased just for this video is Cirque Colors Say Chic. This one I would describe as having kind of a reddish pink jelly base with a bluey purple shimmer and subtle holographic sparkle. I love that. I love that Cirque puts that in all their polishes. It's so pretty and very easy to remove, by the way. So, you're seeing it, right? This one is so sheer. I was not expecting it. I knew there was a reason I didn't purchase this when it released. This is why. I like re-looked on the Cirque site and I was like, I don't have this already. Why not? This is why. It is so sheer. It is definitely a jelly. You can see all of your nail line. But because of that, the shimmer is very apparent and the holographic is extra noticeable and sparkly. So this next one is from Lacquer and it's called Doing Her Own Thing. This one is a beautiful, bright, happy, I guess kind of warm toned pink base, just slightly warm toned pink base with a blue shimmer. Very simple, but beautiful. On application, this one had a jelly leaning feel as well. I was a little concerned again with that first coat, but it was super duper buildable. In 3 coats, I just had slight visible nail line. It wasn't super significant. And if my nails were shorter, I don't think I would have had it at all. Yeah, this one is pretty much a dupe for one we're going to look at here in just a little bit. Not entirely, but very close to something that's very popular. And from Cirque Colors, we have Flamingo. Flamingo has a super unique base color compared to everything else in this video. It is ultra bright. It's a neon. It glows in black light. It has a warm lean to it, but it feels like it has a lot of white. Like it's almost like a pastel neon. Super interesting. Beautiful blue shimmer and that subtle holographic sparkle. Application for this one was on the creamier side. It kind of reminded me of Jet Setter, and it built up to full opacity for me in 3 coats. It was really beautiful and nice to put on. This one definitely does have a warmer and lighter pink base. And because it's so opaque, I feel like the blue shimmer is a little bit subtle compared to some of the others we've seen. One that is so different from everything else comes from Phoenix Polish, and it is called Caroline. Caroline has a bright, but not super duper bright, pink base with linear holographic and a blue shimmer running throughout. As most linear holographics do, this had a beautiful and super opaque formula. It was a solid 2-coater for me, and I think most people would only need 2 coats for this polish. It really pops off the nails beautifully. However, you'll see in that big comparison here in a little bit, it is more subtle than some of the other bright pinks we've seen. It also has a shimmer that looks blue in some lighting, but purpley pink in others. And next we have Polished for Days Barbie on the Boardwalk. I was so excited this came in before I was able to do this video. So this one has a really beautiful, bright, kind of warm leaning pink base. It glows in black light. It is a neon. But what's interesting about this one is the shimmer is a little bit less cobalt, which we've seen with most of the blue shimmers so far. Sometimes they look a little purpley even. And this one feels like it has kind of more of like a sky blue, aqua-y blue shimmer, which is a really fun twist on this very popular combination of colors. This one built up to full opacity for me in 3 coats and was super similar, almost a dupe for Lacquer doing her own thing, except for that one has a cobalt shimmer and the Polished for Days has more of a sky blue shimmer. And the last polish in this video is maybe pushing it a little bit, but I had to include it because I wanted to. It is Polished for Days and Angel Wings. This one has more of like a deeper pink base. It's a jelly base and it's got a blue to green shifting shimmer. This one, I was surprised when applying it on the nails just how sheer that base was. That really allows the shimmer to pop, but it did not build up to the color that I saw in the bottle. And when I built this up to 3 coats, I did have visible nail lines still. I didn't mind because the shimmer was super distracting, but it was more sheer than I was expecting. Gosh, that shimmer is something though. So, so pretty. The green shimmer is also more prominent with this one than the blue shimmer. And I wanted to swatch some of the polishes with similar base colors side by side as a Skittle so we could really compare them. On my pointer finger is Polished for Days Look Alive. The thumb here is Monarch, Lacquer, Truth or Dare. On my middle finger is kbshimmer Aim to Breeze. Ring finger is Cirque Colors Wildberry West. And pinky is Polished for Days Angel Wings. All are pretty different except for the Polished for Days and kbshimmer. The only thing that sets them apart, except for a slight change in base color, are those holographic flakies in the Polished for Days. And next we have the brighter, more Barbie looking pinks. On my pointer finger is Emily Damali Dear Diary. Middle finger is Lacquer Doing Her Own Thing. Ring finger is Polished for Days Barbie on the Boardwalk. Pinky is Cirque Colors Flamingo. And on my thumb is Zoya Lola. I would say Cirque Colors is the brightest and lightest out of the bunch. Zoya Lola is not really like any of the others. Emily Damali Dear Diary is the brightest, and then the Lacquer and Polished for Days are almost the same, except for the Polished for Days I feel like has just slightly more obvious shimmer, so I'm considering destashing that Lacquer. And last are those more purpley fuchsia looking colors. On my pointer finger is Cupcake Fuchsia Rays. Middle finger is Cirque Colors Jet Setter. Ring finger is Mooncat Merkitten. And on my pinky is Phoenix Caroline. Of course, the Phoenix and the Cupcake have different finishes. They both have different kinds of holographic, but Cirque Jet Setter and Mooncat Merkitten are pretty close. Just Mooncat's a little bit more pink and the Cirque Colors is more purple. And because I really like to torture myself, here's what they all look like. Swatch side by side on a swatch wheel in some sunlight. Oh my goodness, the swatch wheel of my dreams. Like truly a thing of beauty. So let's look at them up close, one at a time for a final recap. With the black glitter, we have Monarch, Lacquer, Truth or Dare, then Polished for Days Look Alive. Without any holographic is kbshimmer Aim to Breeze. The deeper color in the middle now is Cirque Colors Wildberry West. With the kind of reddy leaning base is People of Color Nail Polish with Low and Slow. Beside that is Emily Damali Dear Diary. With a very subtle shimmer is Zoya Lola. The blazing neon pink with no shimmer pretty much is Morgan Taylor. She's a classic. With a holographic glitter is Cupcake Polish Fuchsia Rays. Beside that we have Cirque Colors Jet Setter. That's a more purpley looking one. The brighter pink beside it is Mooncat Merkitten. The sheer jelly with a holographic is Cirque Colors Say Chic. That first bright pink is Lacquer doing your own thing. The brightest one is Cirque Colors Flamingo. With the linear holographic, we have Phoenix Caroline. Now is Polished for Days Barbie on the Boardwalk with a bold blue shimmer. And at the end is Polished for Days Angel Wings. So final thoughts, I think the standouts from this whole video for me are Polished for Days Look Alive. Like my eyes just keep going to that one. And Emily DeMolly Dear Diary, it's just so dang bright. And I love the micro flaky glass flakes. They're beautiful. And that opaque formula, shut up, it's so good. And then I'm tied between Lacquer doing her own thing and Polished for Days Barbie, but I think I might destash the Lacquer. So those are all of the bright pinks with blue shimmers that I have in my collection. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Are you as in love with this combination as I am? And if so, what are your favorite bright pinks with blue shimmer? I want to know, even if I have to hunt in a destash. If you enjoyed this comparison, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!